fundamental level, I think it's really important that a musical organization helps commission new works, so that there are always new works being written and composers feel encouraged to write. You have to have a cause for them to compose. And at the same time, Chick Corea is such a well-known name. It was a no-brainer when this proposal was brought forth to co-commission a string quartet in collaboration with the Santa Fe Chamber Music Festival, and I jumped in right away. Chick Corea is a jazz legend, and I don't think he's written too many works in the classical idiom. And so the idea of challenging him with perhaps the most difficult form of all classical music, that is a string quartet, I think is a terrific testament to his versatile talent.
The form is classic, and therefore there's an attraction about it, which is the string quartet is a formation that you find everywhere. There's a lot of interest in it, a lot of music has been written for it, and therefore groups form around. But the main interest was the musicians themselves, and hearing how they played and how well they played, and when I have something like that to work with, it really opens me up as a composer, because I know that what I conceive and what I put down will be taken and really dealt with, and not only just played technically, but will be taken and created with, which is what they're doing with my piece that I'm very happy with.
I know all four players very well from the Orion Quartet, and I have a great deal of respect for them. And now, but string quartets, you kind of live with each other, and those four members on almost 24-hour, 7 days a week basis. But they're four individually brilliant players, and the two violinists, Daniel Phillips and Todd Phillips, are brothers, and yet they manage to coexist pretty peacefully, which is very nice in a string quartet situation. And I can't say enough good things about how they play. They play beautifully, with great style, with great flair, and a huge amount of thought and philosophical development in their overall approach to music. And I find that really a very satisfying feeling, because they don't throw anything together in a hurry. Everything goes through a very long process of rehearsing and thought.
Steve Tenenbaum, the viola player, is a longtime friend. He played in my project in the '80s called the Septet, which was a piece I wrote. Actually, that piece was, I guess that was my first commission. That was for the Lincoln Center Chamber Music Society, and it was a piece for a string quartet, piano, French horn, and flute. And Steve was part of that group. We had a ball on the road. So through his connection to the festival here, the commission came about. And but I wasn't aware of the Orion group yet. I had heard their name, and I listened to a few CDs that they made and was very, very inspired. And I thought, boy, these guys can play anything, I'll bet. And so, it came about like that. That's how I wrote the piece, with the idea that they could play anything. And I believe they can.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start now. How many of you went to Chick's concert last night? Or performance?
Very good.
Excellent. So, this is the first piece of music he's written that he's not playing in his entire 45-plus year career. So, that's like a huge treat and honor for us. And he seemed to be we played it a couple nights ago in Santa Fe, and we all had a good time, including him. He wasn't pulling his hair out in the performance. Which imagine you're a person who writes, and he's written a lot of music over the years, and this is the first time that he doesn't get to play it. So that's quite a great experience for him and us as well. So we're going to just start by starting. He's going to show up sometime soon.
Chick.
Hey, John.
He's just taking pictures back there.
You're right.
You have only 4 instruments, and to create a sense of sonority, a sense of clarity, and development of form, and yet have a great bunch of original ideas built in. That to me is really hard, because piano you can have a huge range of on a keyboard that's available to you, and yet when you write a quartet you have to write, let's say, the same thing as a piano work, but you have to give 4 players equal amount of attention, and 4 players all deserve a chance to shine at any given time. It's not just the first violinist that gets to play all the melodies. Everybody has to have a chance, and the non-melodic components have to support the melodic component, and that's very hard to do.
In the past, when I've written for classical musicians, and chamber music groups, I've taken into account that mostly their orientation is not heavily into jazz. Some more than others, some none, some a lot, whatever. So taking that into consideration, my writing rhythmically would take the form of more something that I'm sure that they could grasp and work with. With this project was the first time I wrote for classical musicians where, having heard Orion play, I thought, these guys can literally play anything. I heard them play Wynton Marsalis's piece very, very effectively and get a real great jazz feel. And I thought, I'm going to write a piece this time that is real rhythm-based, with all of the wonderful complexities of rhythm that I like coming from jazz. So that's what I did with this piece. I used I didn't restrain myself from using rhythms.
Chick didn't put any dynamics in this. He left it all to us to figure it out. So I just thought of one that we might try, which I think we talked about before.
Okay. 29 again?
But yeah. 29.
Alrighty.
3, 4. strength of it pulls it, feels like it pulls it down again. Like that. Little too emphatic. Just play stronger, but not so heavy. What do you think, Jake?
Take it down an octave and leave it out?
I had had one comment, which I really don't want to destroy your groove at all. It's not a criticism, it's just a thought. On this movement, I was just wondering how it would sound if you put it here faster.
We're just talking about
We're just
that.
talking about that.
Yeah, it's the hair. So I'm not even going to suggest a tempo, but just whatever
Just a
tempo.
little more, yeah,
Just a little brighter.
yeah, yeah.
And from the other night, it's a similar thing for,
4?
the slow ones.
3.
Even a
A little more moving.
even a little.
Yeah,
Just a hair.
sure, yeah.
Because all the melodies are now, all of the parts are now very distinct and coming very clearly. So it's just now, maybe tempo. But you can play around with it. It's not that it sounded wrong or anything. It sounded nice, the tempo you chose. I was just curious to hear what would happen.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let's see. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's the process of the rhythm, making sure the next downbeat's involved. You know, and just the way you feel about it. So
Yeah.
really keeps just kind of flowing.
Yeah, so it's like if I can play all that 16th note stuff, you know, look at that.
What's a good speed for that?
Now I can really spread them, but in a quicker tempo. Right now it feels like if I play real spread in this tempo.
Why don't you do that part now and see what's good feels good.
Just a tiny bit.
Yeah, oops. Let's do that area that you play that in. 'Cause it's hard to guess just from nothing over it.
I wonder also if that ding dong, da 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 da.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, a little more release. And
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah,
You know?
right.
Yeah, it's a little thick too.
Yeah, we just won't try as hard.
Yeah.
How about like 36?
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah. 2, 3, 4.
Back to the beginning.
Okay.
Back to the beginning. And
Set this tempo.
set this up.
Okay.
The cello is real great,
Uh-huh.
and then the two inner cuts.
A little more.
Was that a 45?
It starts where, it starts where,
Where'd you want this?
I think all those parts where you
Yeah, well, we never got, okay.
are playing against the cello.
We thought we were going to say soft, it didn't start out soft at 45. But let's-
Yeah, and then I came back.
okay, so we'll match you. Whatever you end up with, we'll match you more.
And then also, where you go, boo-dee-da, boo-da-da-da, boo-da-da-da, da-da-da. Because I don't know if it's the way the strings are facing, because your violin faces out, and your cello faces out, and yours sort of, but yours faces in.
Yeah, it's not that, it's just, we play,
Do you think it has something to do with the sound?
no.
Going out there, I mean.
No, it just has to do with, I play a lot softer because we thought we were going to like really, do the dynamic thing and get real soft and build and stuff like that. And I did it more in a string quartet. You don't listen to anybody. So I did my own thing there, and it was too soft. But it's not. It's
Yeah,
not.
it's not a problem.
It's not
It's
acoustics.
easy.
I'll play more.
Yeah.
I'll play more. You're just telling me to be like a good colleague, which I don't want to be. I just want to do my own thing.
You know, we should probably go on because, these
Okay.
guys are coming in 15 minutes.
Are they really? What's their problem? Okay.
All right. We'll have
Yeah.
to do it.
Why are we doing this? Going over all this again and again. I didn't realize our rehearsal was so short.
Okay,
Go. Rest of the piece, non-stop.
or we can ask him for,
Well, yeah, ask him for advice.
You see, I'm being burning.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, are those mics on too? They might be just picking Todd up a little louder.
I think it's for the TV.
TV, it's not, there's no application.
There's no PAs. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
How's that? A little quicker.
It's a little quicker, maybe a little more like he plays. So less, actually, less, a little more.
Clearer, yeah.
D. A little more ding on the note or something.
All right.
Yeah, I can do a little off.
5?
Just beginning, I kind of messed that up.
Just 24? Maybe 22? need two before the end. We need to be in touch here, right?
Yeah.
So,
Right.
You want?
You think?
Better?
It's a broad thing, the jazz feel. There are so many different forms of it. You know, one thing about rhythm is a very classic statement that Duke Ellington said that he wrote as the title to a song, which it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. And in a sense, any kind of music that I like that has a pulse and a dance flavor to it, and something that makes you want to go like this, has that element to it. And of course, jazz is rich in dance elements and Afro-Cuban elements and elements that, you know, a kind of a rhythm that makes you want to go like. When I hear good Mozart played, or Mozart that renditions that I like, makes me go like this, you know. So that's not jazz, but it's got that element of swing and that element of propulsion that makes you want to get up and move.
5 minutes, so.
Got another minute.
Perfect,
Yeah.
great. Leave this with you guys in case there are questions and answers and get used to the answer. Thanks.
Yeah, yeah.
But rather than do it now, because it's not apropos, what I'm gonna do is tape a recording. Are you gonna record today?
I would imagine.
Yeah,
Usually,
yeah.
For instance, I'll take today's recording, which will be the last of this series, and you'll have a copy, right? And I'll have a copy, and then I'll go through it and
Send us notes.
yeah, send a few little notes. It's just really little things like a longer note here, or you know, a little tempo here. But I mean, it's wearing out. I get it. I'm getting really. The thing I'm loving is I'm getting emotion. Come getting it, man. Like,
Great, great.
so cool. So what's the plan? Is they supposed to have a talk or something?
Well, a little bit.
They're supposed to be able to ask some questions.
You're not gonna let them do that, are you?
Probably not.
Let's finish it up then.
Let's finish up and then we can see. You know?
Yeah. We'll just play the last movement and then we shall see. Yeah.
You know, it's an unfolding process. I mean, an audience is in a sense, an audience is a generality. They're made up of a bunch of individuals, all of whom have their own minds and their own questions and their own orientations and so forth, and their own way into it. So as I'm observing that as a new piece like this unfolds, then there are responses and reactions. It's very interesting to observe, actually, to be part of it, what people are asking. One fella just now said, what key is that in, for instance?
Does anybody have any really interesting questions? Not what we do for a living, not, you know. Yeah, way in the back.
What key is it in? What? I don't know.
Oh, who knows?
What key is it in, sir?
What key is it in?
I don't know. It ends up in F sharp, but you know, who knows what?
There's no key signature.
C major.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
What determines the dynamic? Does
I see. Well, the question is, how do we decide on the dynamics if there aren't any in the parts? Well, we just kind of play it and
the music
say, hey, you know, it would
decides?
sound good if we took it down a little bit and built up the energy and the dynamics from here. And then, you know, oh, me. No, I mean, we all just,
We all do.
yeah, we all just discuss it and say, well, that sounds good.
It's a committee thing.
Right.
Yeah, but to answer what I think is part of your question, we find what the direction is, you know, where the music seems to be going and what seem to be the places of this kind of atmosphere and that kind of atmosphere, and then we all do that. And we make marks in our parts so that we're doing these things together.
We do that with other music, too.
Yeah.
We do that in Beethoven, too. Tempos, yeah, he gave us, yeah, but we're still playing with that, too. Tempos can be experimented.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, there was a question way in the back.
Well, actually, the first answer to the question is that Chick made a MIDI version of it with a robot string quartet. So we had a rough idea how fast we wanted to start with. Very rough. Yeah, very rough, yeah. Well, we knew like one was a slow movement, one was a fast movement.
Okay, there's a girl in the blue shirt back there.
Did you decide on the articulation, or is it marked in your parts in terms of the dial, or how much you do that?
We did some of that, but when we met with Chick, we went through the whole piece, and he had a lot of very specific things, and other things I think are just sort of as we feel at the moment. But there are a number of things that were very specific that we put in later.
And in studying the piece, were you trying to go into a jazz idiom mentally, or were you rather pulling this piece into a string quartet? You know what I mean? Like Bartok, for example.
Well,
I don't know.
It's a more neutral answer because we're just trying to play with excellent rhythm, and the jazz. This is written to have excellent sense of pulse and precise kind of rhythm, and jazz artists are really good at that, and classical artists usually aren't. So we're learning better how to do that through this piece, and any kind of like certain. We also did a piece by Wynton Marsalis. And his idea of the rhythm was a little bit more solid or
lazy.
On the slower side of the groove. And this has a little more of an upbeat kind of feeling to it. So the same in Beethoven or Mozart. Some movements have an up feeling of the rhythm. Others have a solid feeling of the rhythm. And we try to determine that according to style too. I mean, meeting with the live composer and hearing him play also gives us, an inkling of what to try to go for. But we think it's going to help our Dvorak and Bartok and Beethoven playing to have studied rhythm in this kind of way.
So it's some of both, really. Yeah. I mean, we can't pretend that we're not classical musicians, but but we have to be influenced by what we know of jazz in order to play this piece. Yes?
What happens with future musicians who play this piece? Will they go by your markings, or make their own?
I don't know.
It's up to Chick.
Either he'll
We don't care what they do after us. It's not our job.
The original manuscript is no markings.
That's right. That's right. Some idiot is going to make some original edition and say, "Oh, there were no markings in the first edition." That's what they do now, you know, the scholars, and they dig up all these things, and so there'll be the Chick Corea, you know, Society, the text edition.
And the performers will play with absolutely no personality, and everything will be no dynamics or anything like that. And they'll claim that they're the God's answer to Korea.
That's true. But working with live composers like Chick, we realize, you know, how far off was Haydn from this anyway. Like, if he heard musicians like say, "I think I want to put a slur in here," like he'll say, "Yeah, that sounds good. Do it that way." You know, and we see like these original text editions that we have now, and like we feel a lot freer about you know, doing our own thing to it, because we've got a feeling like Beethoven and Mozart would say, "Yeah, that sounds good. Do that." He would have been just the same kind of way. So it seems most important to try to just get the flavor instinctively from what the actual music is doing, and put our own articulations on.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
So, let's get a picture of Chick.
The treasure of music is musicians, obviously. There would be no music without musicians. It's a stupidly simple thing to say, but that's the value. And so it's the particularness of that musician, or the combining of musicians that make for the interest. And that's where the fun is for me as a performer as well. It's playing with others and getting that a particular kind of chemistry and creativity going with these individuals, and it makes it's fun.